fastest show in sports.
With all you've done and all the sports you've covered, which one do you get a thrill out of watching these days?
I love baseball. I love baseball. I know, that probably dates me, but first of all, I love one-on-one confrontations, which is why I like boxing. And
Yes.
to me, baseball is just a series of one-on-ones, right? Batter against pitcher, and then you go 9 innings, you get a minimum of 54 of them, and I love watching them. I like watching pitching. I like watching the way batters work the count. I have patience. I can sit and watch a game. I know the younger generation, it's going too damn slow, but and I don't have any illusions that I can hit Aroldis Chapman. I know that ball is coming goddamn fast and it's hard. And I really admire. I think I admire the skill sets in baseball players more than anything. I didn't really cover a lot of baseball until like the last 10, 15 years of my career because I was doing mostly boxing. And when I got to the ballpark and I saw how difficult it was to get a base hit, how much ground those guys cover, how they get to almost everything and how difficult it is to make solid contact, especially at certain points in the count. I just loved the game. I was like, I would watch it like this, with my eyes wide open the whole game. And that it had a lot of the elements of boxing that I like because of the one-on-one confrontation, This is why I'm not really into football because there is no one-on-one confrontation. It's like, to me, it's two machines banging into each other over and over again. And I could give a rat's ass. I don't relate personally to anybody on the field. I don't see anybody's faces. I don't know anybody's person. One or two guys, their personality, but otherwise they're all interchangeable parts.
I mean, here I am as a kid. I grew up a fan of baseball and then of football because I was covering that. It was one of the first things I covered as a member of the media. I have become a massive hockey fan in the last 10, 15 years.
Great. I love hockey, but I like it in the arena.
See, I agree with you there. To me, there is no greater, more perfectly conditioned, faster, intelligent athlete in the world than the professional hockey player. I will put them in all those categories against anybody. And when I ever get into an argument with that and somebody says, well, they're not nearly as tough as football players.
That's horseshit.
Stop just a minute here.
Go into an NHL locker room and look at all the teeth in the paper cups and tell me how tough they're not.
I just watch them and I am amazed out of all the athletes I watch, I'm amazed at the skill level that a hockey player, they're playing both offense and defense.
Skating alone. Skating alone. Just go out and skate at 40 miles an hour and turn on a dime and chase the puck and go into the boards, get up, get down. The goaltenders flopping all over the place, getting right back up on their feet. Tremendous skill set. I agree with you. And another thing that people don't realize because of the bulky uniforms is what kind of shape these guys are in.
Oh, incredible.
I mean,
they are the best conditioned athletes in the world.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't like the game all that much on television.
See, I get along with it on television because, unfortunately, for so many years, it was the only way that I could watch it.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But now I'm sitting in South Florida now, and I have, as a Boston Bruins fan, I am beaten up.
You're in the hockey capital of the world now.
It is, and people say to me, "You just hate the Panthers."
They can't even make ice down there. I mean, Jesus.
I give them an incredible amount. They are the best team. Look, I've told people in the last couple of weeks here, I would not bet against them for a three-peat. They're that good.
Yeah.
I mean, but I watch them, and I'm always amazed at the incredible amount of skill that they have, and that's why I've become this huge hockey fan. And I love it when people tell me that they could get on the ice and they could play hockey. It's not that tough. Bullshit. There's an outside chance.
Never heard anybody say that.
There's an outside chance that I could hit a fastball from a major leaguer. Outside. It's 1 in a million, outside. But there's a chance. Now there's a chance.
This is how you could do it. If you knew it was coming, okay? If you had no suspicion that you were going to get a curveball or a slider or a changeup. If the guy said, I'm going to throw you a fastball, it's going to be waist high, it's going to be right here, I'll give you an outside shot.
Look, I'm sitting at...
The problem with baseball is you don't know what the hell they're going to throw or where it's going to be.
I'm a member of the media a billion years ago at Miami Stadium, the old baseball stadium before they knocked it down. and doing an exhibition strictly for the media that day was an old guy named Bob Feller.
Oh, yeah.
Feller came in and he was throwing against us. I got in the batting cages for a week just to hit everything I possibly could. I'm thinking, no big deal. Bob's like in his 60s right now. It'll be easy. I'll get out and I'll take a shot. I get up to the plate. Feller throws me something that I have never seen in my life, that it moved with like an F1 car coming down an S curve, and it just made me look stupid as hell. And this is an old guy. He must have been, he had to be in his 60s at that point. But
right. Well, you realize right away this is not the game I was playing.
But Feller, in the next pitch, he laughs and he throws me. He said, "Here's one easy. I'll throw you a fastball." Exactly as you said. And he threw the fastball. I took it out.
Wow. Very good.
I took it out. And
very good.
That, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I've just hit a home run against a 60-something former major leaguer. That's it. But,
Something to be proud of.
I loved it. It was great. It was fun. And I can see myself maybe making
If I go to a batting cage, I can hit anything. And as fast as it comes again, I know exactly where it's going to be. I know exactly what it's throwing. You put me in a game, and I played many media games. The Yankee beat writers will play against the Red Sox.
Oh, they're serious
every year. Yeah, we play one game at Yankee Stadium, one game at Fenway, and I look forward to it every year. But they had a pitcher who would pitch at Northeastern, and he was pretty good. And I couldn't hit him because he kept me off balance. He'd throw a fastball, and the next one, would drop off the table, and the next one would be in here. You could never really dig in and get a good shot at it. And that's the difference between hitting in the batting cage and hitting against a professional pitcher.
Which goes back to that. I know that I can maybe hit in the majors if somebody throws me. Again, knowing exactly what's coming. The way you put it is perfect.
They generally don't tell you.
I don't see them tipping it unless they've got something working with an old Pete Rose gambling type, but that's another story
like
altogether.
Willie Mays, and they want to groove one for you so you can hit your 600th.
Right. I can think of myself, maybe I was a pretty good shooter in basketball. I could maybe, if I was completely left alone, nobody touched me, I could make a three. I know that. Okay? In football, I know if nobody touches me and nobody hits me and nobody drives my teeth into the back of my throat, I can catch a ball that's thrown to me from 20 yards. I can do that. Okay. There's no way in hell I'm getting on the ice and taking any chance whatsoever of having my physical body discorporated by basically being torn apart by one hit from these guys. No way.
And those tough SOBs. I had talked to George Chuvalo about this, the great Canadian heavyweight, and I said, man, you would have been the greatest goon in history. And he said, I'm the only Canadian who can't skate. Could you imagine, him dropping the gloves, the guy that was never knocked down by anybody, and he fought Frazier, Foreman, Ali, he took shots from everybody. He would be a murderer in the NHL. Unfortunately, he couldn't skate.
And I had to do it on skates.
That's the tough part. It's an easy game until the skating part comes in.
The last time I got on skates was a year ago, where I went to where the Florida Panthers train, and they had the basic skate. Everybody's there, and they bring in the public, and I slapped the skates on. I hadn't put the skates on for maybe 10 years. Right. Okay, I was a hell of a roller skater and a good blader, and I'm a good skier. But I got on those skates and I got out there. Some kid who was maybe about 10 years old bumped into me at the best he could, knocked me down. Me down, and the next thing I know, big old shiner, baby. And my wife is looking at me going, let's take a picture and put this down for memory. It's like a 10-year-old kid who took me out on the ice.
I will say it's a little bit easier to skate with a hockey stick because it gives you a third point of balance.
It gives you a balance point.
I found it a little bit easier to skate with a stick.
Speaking of balance, I wanted to make sure that I tell people now, you're training people at the Y, right? That's what you're doing these days?
Yes, I am. 6 days a week.
Which Y are you at?
It's in Huntington, Long Island.
Okay.
Which is in Suffolk County, about 25 miles from the city. And we have a huge turnout. I started with one class 2.5 years ago with about 6 people in it. Now I've got over 100 people who come in and out. We do it 6 times a week. They love it. The women really like it. A lot of times, I'll say to them, just hit me like you're the person, like I'm the person you hate more than anyone in the world. And they do. And it's usually an ex-boyfriend or an ex-husband. Sometimes it's a current husband. Um, and it's a great workout. They lose weight, they see results, and they like to hit things. People, going to your original point, people like to hit things.
People like to hit things. They like to be able to say, "Hey, look what I can do with one shot."
Yeah, it is a skill. They do learn a skill. They do. They learn something that they did not know how to. And you know what? They all say the same thing to me. I had no idea how difficult this was.
You wouldn't want to franchise and come down here and train an old redhead sportscaster by any chance, would you, Wally?
Why not? For the right money, I'll do anything.
Money? What, money? Are you serious now? It'll be
No,
cheaper. It'll be cheaper for me to get a JetBlue flight and come up to Huntington.
I'll do it for the love. Yeah, maybe you should do that because at least I get paid here in Huntington.
Think about it. Oh yeah, and by the way, this whole thing about wanting to do a sport one time, Angelo Dundee, God rest the man's soul, he befriended me and introduced me to Ali and all his gang and all that when they were training. And one time I'm working for Channel 6 in Miami, and I decide to go out and I do a story with Angie where he puts me in with a couple of his fighters. And I hadn't been in a ring since maybe I tried Golden Gloves when I was a kid, wasn't any good at it whatsoever. Stuck me in there at the ring, headgear, everything. I'll tell my guys to go easy on you. One shot, that's it. I'm out. I said, thanks, Angie. I'm gone.
But
Kid
unlike
hit me,
your
hit me
MMA
right
crowd,
here.
you did it. You climbed the steps, and that's the important thing.
Kid hit me right here, and it was like you could tell that he was enjoying it. And I saw stars.
Yeah, but you know what? You got in there and you did it.
Oh yeah, and you know something? I got back in again, and a couple of times more. I got back in again, and I got back in again. I wish I'd have stayed with it because it was probably the single best form of conditioning I had ever gone through in my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I fought into my 50s. I fought about once a year, every year, for like 30 years. And I loved it, and I would do it. If anybody would license a 68-year-old, I'd do it tomorrow. But I tell my
Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's get on the phone. I have a promoter who's willing to put you in with Jake Paul.
Okay, I'm listening. $20 million to take. Do I have to take the dive like the rest of them? No, but I tell I have some students who actually want to box, want to fight. And I say to them, look, you're doing fine here, but the thing is you have to get in and spar and you've got to get hit because you got to see whether or not you like it. A lot of people, they get hit once and they go, this is not for me. Other guys get hit and say, I can take this. I'll come back and do this again tomorrow. I said, until you do that, you're not even considering fighting.
That's all, folks.